Mac Monster, back with Marvel Heroes, and this time we got Kitty Pryde on the chopping block. Although you may not be able to see her too well, she's a little invisible there. Here, we'll take that off. And she's visible again. And so, we got a brand new character, and a little bit new dynamic with her pet there. Her pet dragon. Do a little close-up. This is her basic costume, the Kitty Pryde modern costume. She looks pretty cool. Basically an X-Men costume. She's got the X-Men belt buckle there. And this is her Kitty Pryde Excalibur costume. The one I'm going with. She looks pretty cool here as well. Got some flowing hair and a little sash. So, definitely loving her. She's pretty good. She's got some phase abilities where she blinks in and out of material objects, in and out of the ground, all over the place, back and forth between people. Definitely a fun character. High DPS, single target. Just a little bit more cleaner, I find, than Ant-Man, but kind of like Ant-Man. Just real strong DPS. I love her. I got a build for her. I call it just a phase. It's one of her abilities. First off, I'm going to introduce hero synergies that I'm using. I use Ant-Man for the +1 strength. I use Cable for the 2% crit chance. I use Daredevil for the 2% melee power and the 3% normal elite damage. I use Emma Frost for the 1 durability. I use Loki for the 5% power reduction, although it may not be necessarily if you want to use something else, like maybe Mr. Fantastic's 4% critical damage. I use Moon Knight's. He's got 2% physical power crit chance. She's mostly physical power, so it helps, and she's mostly melee damage. Actually, I think she's all melee damage, so +2% to melee power. I use Nightcrawler. Use Squirrel Girl for the 4% boss damage. Use War Machine for the +1 fighting. And I use Wolverine for the 2% brutal strike chance and the 5% brutal damage. Omegas, there's no Omega points being spent here, but I would do plus strength, plus fighting as the main source. She's a little weak on defense, so if you want to do a little durability, you could go with that. Not necessary, but you could. And then crit damage. Okay, just a phase. How to spend the points. It's real simple. We're going to do 20 points into Ogun's Training. This is a great passive. It gives you damage rating, critical strike, critical damage rating. When you use a movement power, or watch your step, or phasing samurai, you increase these ratings by 25% for 8 seconds, which is awesome. And watch your step has a cooldown duration of 8 seconds, so this should always be up. You can make sure it's always up by using a movement power as well in between there. Kind of suggested to do that. We're going to do 20 points into Shadow and Flame. Now this is not a dragon build, not a Lockheed build, but you get a free point in My Pet Purple Dragon, which brings Lockheed out, and we're going to keep Lockheed out because with 1 point in this and Lockheed out, he does do, as it says right there, energy damage once per second. He shoots fireballs. So for mostly physical based character, this is going to be that little bit of energy is going to help us do some synergies with gearing. And if anyone's, watched me before, you probably already know what's coming. But, that's there. And we're going to do Shadow and Flame because this does 2 really hard hits of physical and energy damage. And it's nice extra damage to have going on. And then we're going to do 20 points into Just a Phase. Now this is a nice little buff. It's a short duration, but it gives you attack speed, damage rating. I mean 20% damage right here before we even start putting on any plus powers is awesome. Even though it's only for 3 seconds, it really counts if you do it for the right 3 seconds. It regenerates health per second. It restores spirit per second. And you recover that spirit regardless of power usage, and you gain invulnerability for 3 seconds. So it's an awesome buff. Like I said, especially if timed correctly. We're going to do 20 points into Heartbreaker. This is a 4-second cooldown of an ability that hits pretty hard, and it always deals a critical, and it has plus 40% critical damage as well. It does a stun for almost 2 seconds. This is again without any pluses to abilities, so it's a very handy skill. Watch Your Step is a great skill just to watch what happens. It does a wide AoE on the screen, and it basically sucks all the enemies down. Well, let me turn her back invisible. I can show you how wide of an area. It's basically the circle on the lower left-hand corner of the screen. It's a big area, and it sucks everything underneath the ground, and they pop back up and they take damage as well as become vulnerable. And plus, you get plus 40% critical damage for 40 seconds against those enemies. So it's a great ability, and you got to get it on the right enemies that you want too. We're going to do 20 points into Phased Out. This is her signature ability. Now, everything's melee tagged, so you don't have to worry about that. That's the buff you're looking to go for. You activate it once to go under the ground, becoming invulnerable to damage. And then you can repeatedly hit the button or hold the button down, and you hit the target repeatedly, doing a good amount of damage each hit. And you can move around, so if the target moves away, you can move back to the target and keep hitting it. If targets go out of range, if you want, it's a big AoE. It won't give me the size, but again, it's about the size of Watch Your Steps AoE, so it's pretty big. It's a pretty awesome signature. You may not like it at first, but once you get used to doing it, it's pretty awesome. It's kind of like Moon Knight's. Then we're going to do 20 points into Non-Corporeal Beatdown. This is going to be the bread and butter of the build. This is going to be your workhorse. Does physical damage at a high rate of attack speed, 2.6 is before we put any gearing on. And you phase through your target, reappearing behind them, dealing 100% extra damage and critically hitting on the next punch. That has a 2-second cooldown, but it's devastating. It's awesome. And then the rest of the points you have, you're going to put 1 point into Air Walking. This allows you to move around pretty much faster. That's Air Walking. It's pretty good movement ability. You're going to do 1 point in over here. This is a teleport. This is what you're going to use in combat. So you can come up behind them or go around them, go to them, go through walls. And then the rest of your points go into Intangible, and this is your defensive passive. And this gives you damage negation that doesn't go up with points, which is why we only put the remainder of points in there. It gives you dodge rating. Dodge is not that good right now. They're going to be doing a dodge pass, will hopefully brings dodge back to a good place, but right now it's only 50% damage negation on a dodge, so who really cares? Projectile deflection chance, again, projectile deflection is the same as dodge, doesn't really matter as much. The health regeneration on enemy hit is alright, but it's only once per second, so it's not as important, but it's a nice add-on, and you'll get enough with plus skill points that you don't need to dump tons of points in. But if you go back through the story and get all your extra points, you're going to be at plus 20 anyways, so it'll be pretty good too. And then this gives you dexterity as well, which is more dodge. You're really getting enough dodge to be sitting at a good place anyways. And that's the build, just a phase. And we're going to go over to gearing. Now, if I sound weird, I got a cold, so sorry. For gearing, I got her full kit, and then we got some artifacts. So I'm going to go through... What should I go through first? We'll start off with her kit first. I got her Earth 1610 mask. This is pretty good. It's got 1600 defense, 1700 health, 350 crit rating, 925 critical damage rating. It's got a 19% chance to, when you critically hit, to give you +3 strength and +3 energy for 6 seconds. That should always be up. I mean, I'm floating at around 50% crit chance, so every other hit for 6 seconds, I should really be floating at +3 strength all the time. And that's really what we want. It's all physical damage that we're really gunning for the bonus damage, which is why we're looking for strength. If you drop below 50% health, you gain 2300 defense and 652 health regen for 5 seconds. +2 to all powers, and +2 ranks to Kitty Pryde's ninjutsu powers. That doesn't sound important, but it is, because it gives us bonus to Master Ogun's training here, so we want that. And then +5 ranks to non-corporal beatdown, which is max, which is what you really want on that. And you really want the +2 to all powers and the +5 ranks to non-corporal beatdown. Ideally, this would also have +4 ranks to ninjutsu powers, but I got +2, so I gotta take what I got. I put +50 damage rating to melee powers, seeing how everything's melee tagged. That's what I enchanted it with. Sprite's roller skates. This has got 300 damage rating, 1500 defense, 1700 health, 7.6% attack speed, some movement speed, critical hit chance 330, 218 brutal strike chance. When you critically hit, you gain 2% attack speed and 2% movement speed. That stacks 3 times. +2 to all powers, +5 ranks to Heartbreaker, and +3 ranks to Ogun's training. Again, that's almost ideal. It would be +5 ranks to Ogun's training, just to make that perfect, but it's not. This has got a challenge bonus of +1 intellect, and it's got 150 defense rating. I had a whole bunch of birthday cakes left over, so I opened a couple and got challenge rating bonuses. I really liked her, so I'm going to play her for a bit. +1 intellect doesn't sound too good, but it gives you a crit rating and crit damage, so actually it's really good. Agent of Shield Bandolier. It's got 310 damage rating, 1600 defense rating, 1200 health hit points, 280 crit rating, 280 brutal strike rating, 660 brutal damage, 18% chance when you hit with a phase power to gain +2 to all attributes for 5 seconds on a 15-second cooldown. You should always have that, at least on off cooldown. You should always have it back up again. I mean, 18% chance, so you're attacking probably somewhere around 3.5 times a second once you get all the attack speed going. You're going to be getting that up. +2 to all powers and +3 ranks to watch your step. And that's the one's got +1 intelligence bonus, and all these have plus defense on it, 150 defense enchanted, because her defense is rather low, so defense is good to have enchant. Excalibur Tunic. This has got 2000 defense rating, 120 spirit, 1500 health. When you hit with a Lockheed power, restore 2 Lockheed energy. You also gain 220 energy damage rating and plus 2 energy for 5 seconds. You're going to always hit with that, so you always have it, but it won't really matter. But I guess the extra damage from the dragon and the extra damage you'll get with Shadow and Flame will help, because you do have it is a Lockheed power and it is energy based, so you might as well get everything you can. Plus 2 durability, which is nice. It'll definitely help her defense. She has a low defense. 7.3% power duration. Won't really help with just a phase, but you know, 7.3% of 3 seconds isn't that long. 3.8% area power reduction. Plus 2 ranks to all powers. Plus 4 ranks to all Kitty Pryde's Lockheed powers. And again, that will help with Shadow and Flame. And the awesome one, oh yeah, that's also got a durability challenge bonus on it. So it's nice to have defense on everything as well. So really that's 3 durability and 100 to 50 defense enchant on it. And then we got the Age of Apocalypse Claws. This has got 880 damage rating. When you hit with a physical power, you restore 126 health. You also gain 440 physical damage rating and plus 2 strength for 5 seconds. Obviously, that's always going to be in effect. This has got plus 2 fighting, 1430 critical damage rating, 5.6 attack speed, plus 2 to all powers, plus 5 to all Kitty Pryde's phasing powers, and plus 2 to phased out. So it's almost perfect. That plus 2 to phase out would have been nice if that was plus 5 as well, but plus 50 damage rating to melee powers is in the enchant, and this has got a challenge bonus of plus 1 fighting. I actually got really lucky with the challenge bonuses. It's pretty nice. So as you can see, she's got a real low defense of 7298. So I got a defensive Uru with the power dupe. Seeing how she's doing energy through the dragon and actually through Shadow and Flame. We're going to get the critical damage rating, and we're also going to get the physical damage is going to give us the brutal damage rating from the power dupe. So we'll definitely take that for the damage buff. You know, it's if I don't have mental, but hey, that's okay. We're getting the big damage rating anyways. So out of some of the Limbo coffers, I got a Bloodstone Demon Band, and this has got 240 damage rating, plus 1 intellect, plus 1 durability, 380 health, and 289 brutal strike rating. So with the intelligence giving me crit and crit damage, the physical damage rating, plus 1 durability, plus 1 to all powers, I threw this ring on. It's pretty nice. You can get them on the coffers, the infernal coffers. They're pretty nice. I'm going to use my pet Herbie there, plus 3 strength, plus 2 to melee powers, plus 2% base damage to melee powers. Pretty nice. I got an insignia of the Mockingbird. This gives me attack speed with melee. This is where I'm getting all my attack speed. Obviously, I hit with a melee power and I'm getting 9.1% attack speed for 8 seconds. This has got some dodge rating. I guess we're putting it in the bank just for when the dodge recap or rehash comes through. But I needed some hit points because I'm not putting hit points on my costume. I'm putting all my hit points through gear. This has got 1284 hit points as well, so it was pretty much a good buff. The costume's got all critical hit rating on it because I wanted to hit 50% critical hit chance to really take effect of all that critical hit damage that I got. And I put a 3-to-1 core, 3000 hit points, 100 spirit, and medkit use with 400 hit points when I hit an enemy. I'm at somewhere around, if I use a medkit, somewhere around 700-800 hit points on hit. So it's pretty crazy. I'm using Relic of Atlantis, extra critical hit damage rating again. Using the power Cosmic. We got physical and we got energy, so I'm getting 1500 damage rating on that. Once I get to 5th rank, I'll get plus 2 to all stats. And that would really be awesome for her, because that would be the +2 durability, +2 strength, +2 fighting, +2 speed, +2 intelligence. Even the +2 energy would be nice. It'll just be crazy once I get the 5th rank on that. Then I have all blessed with blessings of Gila for brutal strike chance. Because right now, well, actually I don't have all the gear on, so let's put all the gear on, then I'll go through the stats. I got a Blessed Armor issued nano poison artifact. This has got +2 fighting on it. Don't buy the +1s. You can buy these for 900 armor incursion little money things. I forgot what they're called. Let's take a look. Armor drives. They're 900 points, but they come in +1 or +2. Make sure yours is a +2. Otherwise, you're wasting 900 drives. But it's got +2 fighting, and then when you hit with a melee power, you infect the target with nano poison, increasing your brutal strike chance by 72 and brutal strike damage by 202 for 6 seconds. The nano poison stacks up to 3 times, so it's a nice little artifact. And if that wasn't enough, you get +1 to all powers. This is a pretty sick little artifact. I'm using a Blessed Gem of the Curse. Now this is easy to get because it's only armor drives. These are pretty easy to get now. I've seen them as low as 2 blessings on the market, and you know, you can also just kill curse and it should drop. The drop rates have been increasing. But I got mine for 3 blessings because it's actually a decent one. I got a curse medallion, speaking of the curse. Everything's melee tagged, so this is plus brutal strike chance, plus crit chance, plus damage rating to melee powers with a little physical defense on there, +2 to all powers because it's cosmic. Because again the defense is low, I went with the Blessed White Suit Jacket. I like this a little bit more than the Advanced Kung Fu Training Sequence, just because this has got a little bit more damage rating for a little bit less defense rating and a lot more health usually. So again, I'm getting all my health from artifacts and gearing, so I went with the Blessed White Suit Jacket. This you can get for 1 to 2 blessings on the market, or it drops off a Kingpin. And mine dropped off a Kingpin. It wasn't actually too hard to get. Blessed Advanced Crimson Crystal of Sideric. This is actually a pretty good one. 576 physical damage rating, 2% chance to become invulnerable, 1500 health. And that's all the gear. That's putting me at 21.5 thousand hit points. A little bit lower than I like to be for soloing cosmics, but as you can see, I'm at 11 fighting, 6 strength, and 8 durability. So it's actually pretty good. And actually 8 intellect, which is putting me up there. You know, it's 240 crit rating, 720 critical damage rating for being that high in intellect. So let's go take out a Cosmic Dr. Octopus. And everything will be real easy. She's massive single target, so the only problem we're going to have is dealing with massive groups of trash packs. If you run into them, do a hit and run, take a couple out, and get out of there, and try to trail them out. Now, the first thing you want to do is zoning. Is Kitty Pryde has a bug where the My Pet Dragon turns off. Make sure you got a little floating purple dragon going on, and we do, so we're all good to go. So, on my action bar, I have non-corporal beatdown as my left mouse button. Over here is my right mouse button. I have watch your step as my index finger, followed up by Heartbreaker. Even though this is an 8-second cooldown and this is a 4-second cooldown, I want to make things vulnerable. So this does. So I have watch your step up there, and then I do Heartbreaker, and then I do Shadow and Flame. Heartbreaker stuns them, so I want to get that stun off. It hits pretty hard, and I want to get the cooldown rolling. And then I have phased out. I just move my ring finger over when I want to phase out, and I'll hit it. And then on 2 button here. I have G buttons on my mouse, so I'll use air walking with my mouse, and then just a phase is my 1 button. When I want the extra damage or the burst damage, or maybe I need the invulnerability, I'll hit the 1 button on my mouse. And this is all going to be single target killing. Oh, we got tracker up. That's good. And watch your step hits hard enough that it will kill things outright. So you want to definitely time your watch the steps. As you can see, it just took out a pretty good sized chunk of grouping. This is Cosmic. The tracker's there. She's just destroying stuff. My King Thor is only like level 56, but he's up there too, so he's doing some pretty good damage. You can see that just hit for 1.3 billion. That was watch your step. That's awesome. Like these guys, I haven't even hit Heartbreaker or Shadow and Flame. That's really going on bosses or yellows. There's another 1.3 billion hit on watch your step. If you save it for the right places on trash, well, I call it trash day, when you're taking up bounty boxes, if that's what you want to do. I tend to rush bosses and just clear them. But if you're going for bounty boxes, or say you gotta do legendary quests and you gotta kill things, kill mobs, you save your watch your step for the right moments. I'm out 1, 2. Yeah, it's not gonna be enough. I gotta go back. Oh, we can go up here. See those billions? Really pays off. This is air walking. Well, there would have been enough here. I was wrong. And the circles are the signature ability. You can see it just destroyed them. Yeah, phased out. Absolutely obliterated them. And she's doing pretty good. She'll do really good with some Omega points spent. Like I said, strength, and then fighting, and then critical damage. Maybe a little durability if you want some extra defense out of her. But I wouldn't really go that far. And then the last rank of her, Power Cosmic, because that's going to get you 2 durability right there, and 10 durability should be toughness enough to do, you know, green and red raids. And she's there. It's a pretty strong build, high DPS. So I hope it helped. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll talk to everybody real soon.